Ever imagine, like, what it'd be like to find a lost city? Like a real lost capital city.
Oh, yeah. Like something right out of Indiana Jones.
Right, and one that could, like, totally rewrite history as we know it.
Well, get this. Today, we are diving into a discovery in North Macedonia.
Okay.
That might just be that kind of find.
I am so ready. Let's go.
The site's called Gradishte.
Gradishte.
It's in the Bitola Municipality of North Macedonia.
Okay.
And there's more and more evidence suggesting it could be
All right.
the lost capital, get this, of the ancient Kingdom of Lyncestis.
Whoa. A whole lost kingdom. I'm in. Tell me more.
The capital itself was known as Lyncus.
Lyncus?
Yep. And we're going to use some super interesting material coming out of Gradishte. There were reports from Cal Poly Humboldt
God.
and also Heritage Daily. We're going to put it all together for you.
Yeah.
So you can really understand this discovery and why it's such a big deal.
Okay, so we're doing a deep dive today into Gradishte.
That's right.
This potential Lyncus in North Macedonia. This is really cool, I gotta say.
Oh, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
And the site itself, it's not a brand new discovery.
Okay.
Like, it's been on the radar for some time now.
How long?
Oh, we're talking over 15 years.
Oh, wow.
And it's been investigated by a really interesting team.
Oh.
Experts from Macedonia's Institute and Museum Bitola,
Got it.
working with researchers from California State Polytechnic University, Humboldt.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
Yeah, a really fascinating collaboration.
Totally.
And just recently, in 2023, they brought in some really, really powerful technology
Ooh, like what?
to really investigate the site.
Okay.
We're talking ground-penetrating radar,
Oh, wow.
which basically lets them see underground without digging.
That is so cool.
It is.
So they don't have to disturb anything.
Exactly.
They can just see what's down there.
That's right. And then also drone-mounted LiDAR,
Okay.
which uses lasers to create 3D maps.
Oh, that is awesome.
Oh, it's incredibly precise.
So cool. So what did they find? What did this technology show them?
Well, they revealed evidence of a substantial urban center.
Really?
Not just like little bits and pieces here and there.
Right.
The data is pointing to a whole big ancient city.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah. And it gets better. There's what looks to be an acropolis.
Okay, remind me what an acropolis is.
Oh, so that's like the high-up, fortified part of an ancient Greek city.
Oh, okay.
Usually on a hill.
Okay, got it.
And they even found the outline of a Macedonian-style theater.
Wow. So this was not just like a little outpost.
Right, this was a big, important city back in the day.
Totally.
Mm.
So when did they initially think this city was around?
Well, the first guesses, based on stuff they found on the surface, put the city during the time of King Philip V of Macedon,
Okay.
the late 3rd, early 2nd centuries BC,
Okay.
221 to 179 BC, to be precise.
Yeah, that's already pretty significant.
Oh, absolutely.
Historically, but
Then, some new discoveries made things even more interesting.
Okay, this is what I've been waiting for. Tell me everything.
The biggest one was a coin.
Okay, a coin, so what?
But not just any coin. This one was minted between 325 and 323 BC,
Okay, so why is that date so important?
because that puts it right in the time of Alexander the Great.
Oh, wow. Alexander the Great, that is huge.
Yeah. And, finding a major city
Right.
from his time, that really changes things.
It really does. It's a totally different level of historical significance.
It really is. And you start to think, what role did this city have
Right.
during his campaigns?
I know. This is so exciting.
Well, hold on, because the story goes back even further.
Oh.
They found evidence at Gradishte
Uh-huh.
of people living there way back in the Bronze Age.
Wow. The Bronze Age.
They found stone axes and pieces of ceramic pots
Okay.
that point to a Bronze Age presence.
That's like, how long ago was the Bronze Age? Remind me.
We're talking roughly 3,300 to 1,200 BC.
Wow. That's a really long time.
It is. So this wasn't just a city that popped up later on.
Yeah.
It looks like people were there for thousands of years.
Wow. So this is like a really, really old site.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder, what was it about this location
Yeah.
that drew people to it for so long?
So we've got this city.
Yeah.
It's old.
Very old.
Dates back to at least Alexander the Great, maybe even further.
At least.
But could this really be Lyncus?
Right. Well, to answer that, we need to talk about the Kingdom of Lyncestis.
Okay, so who were the Lyncestians? Break it down for me.
Okay, so picture this. The land of the Lynx.
The land of the Lynx. I like that.
It was an independent kingdom in Upper Macedonia.
Okay.
They have their own rulers,
Okay.
their own identity. Think of them as a separate region.
So not exactly part of the Macedonian kingdom everyone knows about.
Right. Not just another district of Macedon.
Okay, got it. So were they always under the control of the
The Argeads.
Yeah, the Argead dynasty, right?
Nope, not at all.
Really?
The Lyncestians had a history of resisting the Argeads, and they actually kept their independence.
Wow.
For quite a while. It wasn't until Philip II.
Alexander's father, right?
Exactly. He conquered them in 358 BC.
Okay.
So if Gradishte is Lyncus,
right,
finding the capital would be a huge step in understanding this part of ancient Macedonia that had its own history, its own identity, before becoming fully part of the bigger kingdom.
That's so interesting. So much more to the story than just Alexander the Great.
Exactly. It's more complex than that.
Yeah. So wait, didn't you mention something about a personal connection between Lyncus and like a really important historical figure?
Here's a really cool detail. Eurydice.
Who's that?
She was the queen married to King Amyntas III of Macedon.
Okay.
Oh, and grandmother to Alexander the Great.
No way. So Alexander the Great's grandmother was from Lyncus.
She was born in Lyncus, yeah.
Oh, wow. That's a pretty close connection.
Right. And it links the capital to the heart of the Macedonian royal family.
That's amazing. Makes you wonder if that connection affected things between Lyncestis and the Argeads.
Totally. It makes you think, yeah.
So what are the experts saying?
Well, Professor Nick Angeloff, he's an anthropologist and archaeologist at Cal Poly Humboldt.
Got it.
He says this discovery is a big deal.
Get that.
He points out that the city was right on ancient trade routes.
Okay.
The routes that went towards Constantinople.
Oh, wow. So a pretty important location.
Right. That strategic location would have given it a lot of economic power and maybe even political power, too.
Fascinating.
And, you know, he even suggested, and he did say, it was speculation, that some big names like Octavian and Agrippa might have even passed through the area.
Wow.
On their way to the Battle of Actium.
The Battle of Actium. Remind me about that one.
That was the battle against Cleopatra and Mark Antony.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So like Roman Empire level stuff.
Exactly. And if they did go through there, it connects this site to some of the biggest moments in Roman history.
Wow. That's pretty wild to think about.
It is.
So, okay, big picture now.
Right.
What does it all mean if this is Lyncus?
Right. So archaeologically speaking, Heritage Daily says this discovery gives us a lot of new information about North Macedonia's history.
Okay.
It reminds us that this area was super important to the ancient Macedonian state, which some scholars believe was one of the first modern states in Europe.
Oh, that is interesting.
Right.
So this is about way more than just one city.
It's a much bigger story, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm guessing this isn't over. They're still working on this, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's really cool.
Professor Angeloff talked about the students, the faculty, the researchers from both the National Institute and Museum Bitola.
Got it.
And Cal Poly Humboldt.
Okay.
They're all working to uncover the whole story of this city.
So exciting. What else are they hoping to find?
They want to know more about the networks.
Okay.
The political ones, the economic ones that existed in ancient Macedonia. They want to understand the culture, the everyday lives of the people, their society, how they interacted with other powers.
It's like piecing together a puzzle.
It really is.
So as we wrap up, can you hit the main points again for our listeners?
Sure. So the big thing is we might have found Lyncus, the lost capital of the Kingdom of Lyncestis.
Right.
The site dates back to Alexander the Great's time. Maybe even earlier, which makes it super important historically.
Yeah.
And remember, Lyncestis was its own kingdom with its own story within the larger Macedonian landscape.
It makes you wonder what other lost cities are out there just waiting to be found.
Doesn't it? Like, what else is hidden beneath our feet?
And with all this new technology.
I know, right?
Who knows what incredible things we might find in the years to come.
It's really exciting to think about.
I know.
How much our understanding of history could change.
I can't wait to see what they find next. This has been a great deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.